There are certain cars that exist purely to challenge the limits of what's possible. Cars that weren't designed with compromise in mind, vehicles that represent an absolute commitment to performance above all else. The Porsche 911 GT2 RS based on the 997.2 platform is precisely that kind of machine. When Porsche unveiled this car in 2010, they weren't just releasing another high-performance variant of the 911. They were making a definitive statement about what a rear-wheel drive, turbocharged sports car could achieve when every element was pushed to its absolute extreme. This was Porsche's most powerful road-legal 911 ever produced at the time, and it carried with it a reputation that demanded respect from anyone brave enough to turn the key. To understand the GT2 RS, you first need to understand what the GT2 nameplate has always represented within the Porsche hierarchy. While the GT3 lineage draws its DNA from naturally aspirated racing engines and motorsport purity, the GT2 has always been the turbocharged monster. It takes the forced induction technology from the 911 Turbo but strips away the all-wheel drive system, leaving drivers with nothing but rear-wheel drive and an abundance of horsepower to manage. The RS designation, of course, stands for Rennsport, which translates to racing sport in German. When Porsche adds those two letters to any model, it signifies a car that has been stripped down, lightened, and optimized for track performance while remaining street legal. The GT2 RS, therefore, represents the ultimate expression of this philosophy applied to the turbocharged 911 platform. The 997.2 generation GT2 RS arrived as the successor to the already formidable 997.1 GT2, but Porsche engineers weren't satisfied with incremental improvements. They wanted to create something that would redefine expectations entirely. At the core of the GT2 RS sits a 3.6-liter twin-turbocharged flat-six engine that produces an absolutely staggering 620 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. To put this into perspective, this represented an increase of 90 horsepower over the standard GT2 and made it the most powerful 911 that Porsche had ever built for public roads at that point in the company's history. Achieving this level of output required significant modifications to the engine. Porsche engineers fitted larger variable turbine geometry turbochargers, revised the intercooling system, and implemented a specialized expansion intake manifold. The engine management system was completely recalibrated to handle the increased boost pressure and fuel delivery requirements. But perhaps what makes this powertrain truly special is how it delivers that power. Unlike some turbocharged engines that feel laggy or disconnected, the GT2 RS builds boost with remarkable urgency. The throttle response is sharp, and once those turbos spool, the acceleration is nothing short of violent. The engine pulls relentlessly from low in the rev range all the way to its 7,000 RPM redline, accompanied by a mechanical symphony that combines turbo whistle, flat-six wail, and exhaust crackle into something genuinely intoxicating. Channeling all of this fury to the rear wheels exclusively is a 6-speed manual transmission. This was a deliberate choice by Porsche. While the PDK dual-clutch automatic was available in other 911 variants by this time, the GT2 RS remained committed to the manual gearbox. This wasn't about lap times or efficiency. It was about driver engagement and maintaining the raw, unfiltered character that RS models have always embodied. Power means nothing without the proper chassis to harness it, and Porsche understood that reducing weight would be just as critical as increasing horsepower. The GT2 RS underwent an obsessive weight reduction program that touched nearly every component of the vehicle. The front fenders, trunk lid, and engine cover were all constructed from carbon fiber reinforced plastic. The rear wing assembly, a massive fixed unit that dominates the rear profile, was also made from carbon fiber while incorporating functional aerodynamic elements. Even the mirrors received the carbon fiber treatment. Inside, Porsche removed the rear seats entirely. The full carpeting was replaced with lightweight floor mats. Air conditioning was deleted as standard equipment, though it could be added back as a no-cost option for owners who wanted it. The lightweight bucket seats were trimmed in Alcantara and featured carbon fiber shells that saved several kilograms over conventional sport seats. The result of all this obsessive attention to weight was a dry weight of just 1,370 kilograms, or approximately 3,020 pounds. For a twin-turbocharged 911 producing over 600 horsepower, this power-to-weight ratio was exceptional. Every kilogram saved translated directly into improved acceleration, sharper turn-in response, and more responsive braking. The suspension system of the GT2 RS was derived from the standard GT2 but received significant revisions to cope with the increased performance envelope. Porsche Sport Active Suspension Management was fitted as standard, providing electronically adjustable damping with settings optimized for either normal driving conditions or aggressive track use. The ride height was lowered compared to the standard 911 turbo, and the spring and damper rates were stiffened accordingly. The result is a chassis that feels incredibly connected to the road surface, transmitting feedback through the steering wheel and seat in a way that modern sports cars often struggle to replicate. Stopping this projectile fell to the Porsche ceramic composite brake system, featuring massive 380mm front discs and 350mm rear discs gripped by 6-piston front calipers and 4-piston rear units. These brakes were not optional. Porsche recognized that the performance envelope of the GT2 RS absolutely demanded the fade resistance and consistent pedal feel that only carbon ceramic technology could provide at sustained track speeds. The rear-wheel drive configuration, combined with all that turbocharged torque, creates a handling character that demands respect and attention. This is where the GT2 RS earned its informal nickname as the widowmaker. With traction control disabled, the car will absolutely punish overconfidence or ham-fisted inputs. However, for experienced drivers who understand weight transfer and throttle management, the GT2 RS becomes an incredibly rewarding tool that responds beautifully to precise inputs. The GT2 RS is immediately distinguishable from lesser 911 variants thanks to its aggressive aerodynamic package. The front end features enlarged air intakes and a pronounced splitter element that helps direct airflow beneath the car and manage front-end lift at high speeds. The rear wing is the defining visual element. This isn't merely a styling exercise but a functional aerodynamic device that generates genuine downforce. The angle of attack is adjustable, allowing owners to configure the car differently depending on whether they're prioritizing top speed or maximum cornering grip. At velocity, this wing works in conjunction with the underbody aerodynamics to plant the rear axle firmly onto the pavement. Special GT2 RS badging and graphics were applied throughout, and buyers could specify their cars with additional livery options that paid homage to Porsche's racing heritage. The wide body, borrowed from the 911 Turbo, gives the GT2 RS a muscular stance that hints at the mechanical capability lurking beneath those flared fenders. When the GT2 RS hit the market, its performance statistics were genuinely shocking. The sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour took just 3.4 seconds. The 0 to 100 km per hour time was similarly impressive at approximately 3.5 seconds. Top speed exceeded 205 miles per hour, placing it among the fastest production cars available at any price point. Perhaps more impressively, the GT2 RS completed the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 7 minutes and 18 seconds during testing. This lap time was remarkable for a rear-wheel drive production car and demonstrated that the GT2 RS could compete with all-wheel drive supercars costing significantly more. Porsche limited production to just 500 units worldwide, ensuring exclusivity and making the GT2 RS immediately collectible upon release. The original manufacturer's suggested retail price approached $245,000, though many examples sold for premiums above sticker due to demand exceeding supply. Today, the 997.2 GT2 RS is recognized as one of the most significant modern Porsches ever produced. Values have appreciated substantially since new, with clean, low-mileage examples commanding prices well into the mid-six figures at auction. Collectors recognize this car as representing a particular moment in automotive history when analog controls, manual transmissions, and driver involvement were prioritized over electronic intervention. The GT2 RS represents the final expression of the 997 generation and stands as a bridge between the traditional 911 experience and the more technologically advanced vehicles that would follow. For enthusiasts who value mechanical connection and rewarding dynamics over ease of use, the 997.2 GT2 RS remains one of the most desirable modern sports cars ever created. The Porsche 911 GT2 RS in its 997.2 specification is more than just a high-performance automobile. It represents Porsche's willingness to build something uncompromising, a vehicle that refused to prioritize comfort or accessibility over pure driving experience. It rewards skill, demands attention, and delivers performance that remains impressive well over a decade after its introduction. For those fortunate enough to experience one, the GT2 RS offers something increasingly rare in the modern automotive landscape, a genuine connection between human and machine, mediated by nothing more than a clutch pedal, a gear lever, and the driver's own judgment. That is the true legacy of this remarkable automobile.